did you know that goals can also hold you back? They can completely limit your potential. They can really lock you into a sense of what you think you're capable of and limit you from really extending and expanding yourself and opening your wings to their fullest potential, because the goals that you may have set for yourself are goals that are just not big enough. And I'll tell you what I'm talking about. I come from humble beginnings. In my family, I was the first to have gone to university, and that was a really big deal for us. I mean, for me, that was a huge goal, and I was so excited to be able to achieve it. I was so proud that my family made it possible for me. My parents made sacrifices and enabled me to go to university and pursue my dreams of becoming and qualifying as a chartered accountant. So that was a really inspiring, massive goal for me, because I hadn't seen anyone achieve it in my immediate circles before. And I had qualified as a chartered accountant, went to university, did the hard work, qualified as a chartered accountant, and then almost went into a really very relaxed mode. Because in terms of my dreams, in terms of how big I could dream, the big dream for me was qualifying as a chartered accountant and then getting married and having my children and raising a family. And so that's what I started to do. I qualified as a chartered accountant and almost settled down in my career, thinking that my journey was done, thinking that my ambitions were achieved and that I had reached the ultimate that I wanted to reach. And that caused me for many years in my career to just slow down, until one day I was in a conversation with a senior manager who asked me and forced me to push my thinking even further, challenging me to think about, what is the bigger dream? What is it that you're really wanting to achieve and unlock in your career? Because right now you've slowed down. And when you slow down and you go into this complacent stage, you're not chasing something much more bigger, much more exciting. And while I thought that I had achieved my dreams, actually, no. All I had done was achieved a goal that was a stepping stone to a much bigger dream that I hadn't even envisioned or visualized as yet. And so at that point, I was forced to stop and really reflect and set myself even greater goals. And the goal that I set myself at that point was to become a director in the audit firm that I worked at. Now, being a director in the audit firm, just to give you a picture of how difficult that would have been, being a director in the audit firm that employed 2,500, 3,000 people in our country meant that I had to be one of 20 or 30 people that was selected in that year from this entire massive pool of people around the country to be promoted as a director. More than that, it meant that I, who had come from very humble beginnings, who hadn't gone to the prestigious private schools that the people I was competing against had gone, who didn't have the wide networks that others had, and who also grew up in a very small town and who worked in one of the smallest offices that this audit firm had. It would have meant that all of those challenges and barriers would need to be overcome for me to be promoted as a director. And that's it. It was those fears and the limiting beliefs that, coming from where I was coming from, why would anyone choose me to be a director? Why would they promote me above others who are coming from far more exciting backgrounds, who have had far more advanced experiences, who know more important people that I know? Why would they choose me? And it's that fear, those limiting beliefs, that stopped me from taking a dream, a massive dream, a scary dream, and converting it into a goal, until the day that I made the decision that this will be a goal of mine. I firmly committed that I'm no longer too afraid to dream this big dream. I'm no longer too afraid to say it out loud, to accept that this is a dream of mine, and then to set it as a goal, and then to just put myself into that action mode and make it happen. So the first thing that I had to do was really just question my own limiting beliefs and allow myself to dream the scariest, biggest dream that I didn't give myself the permission to do until that point. And right now, I want you to just pause and reflect on the dreams that you think are your biggest dreams, because our dreams decide and dictate the goals that we're going to chase in our lives. Our dreams are the starting point of visualizing what we can achieve in this lifetime, of visualizing the biggest and the most exciting things we can create in this lifetime. It's the starting point of our goals and our action, and really just moving towards the destination that we desire. Ask yourself this question: am I dreaming big enough? Is that dream the biggest possible dream I could dream at this point? If I could take that dream one step further, if nothing would hold me back, if my fears were just fears, they were just that, something that I could see on the outside, what would my dream truly look like? And you can dream dreams in every area of your life. Dream dreams in your career, from your friends and your family and your relationship perspective, spirituality dreams, learning and development dreams, wealth dreams, dream dreams in every single area of your life. What would the biggest, most exciting dreams, most scariest dreams look like? And then set yourself the challenge of going out and making it happen. So that was the first step. I had to conquer the limiting beliefs that were holding me back from believing that this dream was even possible for me. And once you step past the fear into believing that it's possible, into saying, well, I'm going to try. I am going to make this, set this goal for myself. I'm going to try. Then the next step is understanding that one of the sources of the fear is the uncertainty that comes from chasing something in the unknown. So there's uncertainty where we don't know what steps we need to take in order to achieve a massive goal, where we don't know what barriers we're going to come across on this journey to achieving this big, scary goal that we've now set for ourselves. That uncertainty is what stops us from moving forward. That uncertainty is what paralyzes us and brings about an internal state that just will not allow us to keep on moving forward. So the first thing we have to do is say, how can I remove this uncertainty in my life? And maybe you don't know enough to remove the uncertainty. Then you have to ask yourself, how can I make myself feel a little bit more certain about at least the first step that I need to take? So we've said, now this is the goal. This is the big goal that I want to achieve. It's aligned to my biggest, most scariest dream that I can chase in this area. And in order to achieve this goal, I need to now put a plan in place. And the plan is how we create the structure and the order and the framework that starts to reduce the amount of uncertainty that we have in our lives around this goal. And as we reduce the uncertainty, we start to feel a lot calmer. We start to feel a lot more like this is possible. I can do this. I can achieve this. I can make it happen. And in reducing the uncertainty, the only thing you need to do is to plan and plot the first step. You might not know what the second step needs to be to achieve this big goal, but at least plan and then take action against the first step. And as you're moving forward on the first step, you're going to have opportunities, you're going to be faced with information, you're going to have mysterious synchronicities in your life that might connect you to new people, that's going to help you to unfold what the second step needs to be. So set your sights on the big goal and then pull it all the way back and say, now, how do I create more certainty around how to get this done? And just take the first step. So write out all the steps you can imagine. And if you can't imagine more than one step, write out that first step and take it. The action is what's going to lead you toward your next step and the next step thereafter. All you've got to do is just keep on moving. Don't allow the fear to stop you from moving.
Hello.
The next thing you need to do is, at a point in time, you might be taking a step, and then suddenly the next step that you take just completely falls flat on its face. It's a completely disastrous step. And you feel like just, this is the biggest failure that I've ever experienced in my life. And now that I've failed, I've got to give up. Now that I've failed, there's just no way that I can keep moving forward again. And right when you have that failure, when you face it and you hit it head on, you need to stop again. And you need to tell yourself this: some of the greatest things that have happened in this world, some of the greatest people that have ever existed have failed almost every single day of their lives. And I'll give you a quick example. Thomas Edison. Now, all of you listening to this may have heard of Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison's the reason we can flip a switch and have light in the room. Thomas Edison's the reason that you can see me clearly on the screen today, that we've got all this light that's illuminating us. Thomas Edison was the inventor of the light bulb. Now, if Thomas Edison had succumbed to this notion that failure was a bad thing, that failure is a reason I should stop, then today we may not be sitting in the room that is this well lit by a light that Thomas Edison invented. Because when he was on his journey to inventing this light bulb, Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times. Now let that sink in. He didn't fail once, he didn't fail twice, he failed 10,000 times before he was able to invent the light bulb that worked. The light bulb that you and I still utilize up until today, that we appreciate, that illuminates everything for us. He failed 10,000 times. Now we go through life and we fail once and we're completely shattered and we're completely paralyzed and we feel we can't move forward again. But when we do that, all we're doing is we're saying, my dreams are not worthy. My goals are not worthy. They're not important enough. They're not important enough to me. They're not important enough to the people that they're going to impact one day. They're not important enough for me to push past this feeling of failure in this moment. So when you fail, think about the people who have walked before you, that have failed 1,000,000 times before you and have picked themselves up and just kept moving and have gotten excited by that failure because it's one less way that you can fail going forward, because we learn the lesson and then we move forward anyway. So when you're on your path to achieving goals towards these dreams that are just massive and so scary, you are going to fail along the journey. But think Thomas Edison, if he could do it 10,000 times, I can do it once, I can do it twice, I can do it 100 times, it does not matter. Nothing's going to stop me from achieving the goal that I've set for myself because it's that important to me. So you've got to teach yourself to persevere. You've got to teach yourself to push past any doubts, any fears that are going to creep in along the way so that you can achieve the dreams that you're hoping to achieve one day, that you can really live a life that is completely aligned to the potential that you've been born with, that you're not shortchanging yourself and that you're not limiting the people around you because you are too afraid to fail forward. So we know that Thomas Edison failed forward, that he managed to keep trying, that nothing could stop him from really just trying the next time and trying the next time. But the thing that made the 10,001, if that was it, time a success was that every time he failed, he went back to the drawing board and asked himself, in this instance, what was the lesson that I needed to learn? Now, therein lies a lesson that we need to learn, because when we're failing, when we're taking a step and it's not successful, and then all we do is we take that same step again tomorrow and we tell ourselves, well, I'm not giving up. I failed and I'm not giving up. And then all we do is we go and we do the same thing again. And then we do the same thing again. Well, you'll never be like Thomas Edison if that's all you do, because Thomas Edison, every single time he failed, he went back and he documented the failure. What was the reason that I failed here? What is the tweak that I need to make? How do I need to change my plans in order that the next time is more successful? What else can I try here? So he pushed himself to start to think more creatively, really just utilizing his imagination and his brain power. Maybe he consulted with other people. He didn't have access to the internet like you and I. I mean, if you're failing at something, if I'm failing at something, I can go and Google it and I will have a list of options that I can try the next time round. So I don't need to make the same mistake twice. When we fail, there's always a lesson to be learned. Stop and ask yourself, what is the lesson that I need to learn here? Then go back and say, how do I need to adjust my plan? When we're chasing a goal, we have a plan. We're taking action every day against that plan. When we hit a barrier and we stop and we feel like we're failing, it's an opportunity to stop and look at the plan and say, do I need to rework it? Do I need to improve it? Do I need to change it so that this plan can take me towards my goals more effectively? So that's what we need to do. Never allow ourselves to fail without having learned the lesson and adjusting and reworking our plans to really just take us to those goals a whole lot more successfully. So when we're going forward, we need to say, well, if I'm not dreaming big enough, then I need to learn how to dream bigger. I need to figure out a way to expand my mind. So like me, I said at the start of my career, I thought that when I reach a certain point in my career, I'm done. That's my dream. I've achieved it. I don't need to go any further. But I don't want you to make that same mistake. I want you, when you're dreaming up front, to say, is this my biggest dream, my most exciting dream? How can I stretch myself even further? So if you're struggling to find the dream that you should be working towards, setting as a goal, then do this. First, ask yourself, is there a problem that you're really passionate about? Something that you see as a problem around you, whether it's in your home, whether it's in your community, whether it's at the tertiary institute, in your workplace. Where is it that you're seeing a problem that's constantly showing up, that you are passionate about solving, that you are really feeling like you can make a difference in this area? And start to think about that. Start to dream about it. Start to say, well, if I could fix this problem, what are the solutions that I can put in place here? And that's going to lead you towards dreams in the area. It could lead you towards potential goals that can create massive, huge impact. So use problems as a way to take you toward possible solutions and how you can work towards turning that into a goal area for yourself. The other is to stretch yourself and broaden your horizons. Read more. Try new experiences. Really just say, how can I get out of the zone and the little box that I've grown up in? We all are in a box. Even when we're stretching and expanding, all we do is we go from a little box into a bigger box, into a bigger box. But each time we're limited by the experiences that we have, by what we've seen, by what we've heard. So what you want to be doing constantly, saying, how can I expand my vision? How can I bring more experiences into my life? And I don't need to experience it firsthand. I can read about it from other people. I can watch videos. I can listen to other people, just to broaden your horizon so that you can take your goals and your dreams and make them bigger. Because now you're utilizing something from outside of your original scope of vision to say, well, I want to dream bigger. This is what I can now bring into my life. And then look at setting this as a goal for yourself. Say, I want to build an empire around me, because when I have an empire around me, then I know that I've chased the biggest goals I can possibly chase. And when I build this empire around me, I can help the most people that I can possibly help. I can scale my impact to reach more than just my family and my friends, and then start to dream about how can I create this empire around me. Because when you start to dream about that, you're going to move yourself towards dreaming about much bigger goals, and your goals are not going to limit you and keep you small. Your goals are going to help you to grow and fill the space and be the person that you were born to be, because you're all born with huge, massive potential. It's your job, it's your duty to discover what that potential is, to discover what it is that you are meant to be doing that can create the biggest value and the biggest impact on the most amount of people while you're here on this earth. And that's the challenge for you, is to let your goals take you towards that potential, not limit you from that potential based on what you can see and what you can envision now. So expand your vision, dream bigger, and make sure that your goals are helping you to achieve that. So I want to conclude on this note. I want to conclude with a mission for you. And the mission for you is to set yourself goals that are going to help you to grow into the person that's going to be the most powerful version of you, that's going to ultimately be able to create the greatest impact in this lifetime, because those are the goals that are going to be aligned to your most purposeful, most impactful dreams and take you to who you were truly, truly meant to be. So